being real scares people. Being real scares people because people are used to performance. People are used to having to mask how they really feel. And they're used to being around people who are also afraid, just like them, of being themselves and showing who they really are. We're living in a world and in a time where more than ever, people feel like others are zombies, that they're NPCs, so to speak, and that you're talking to a wall. Like there's these blank expressions, there's these people confused. When you want to talk about certain things, people are confused or they're just not looking into things, so they're a little like, huh? Or let me redirect it to a more superficial topic. And that comes across as though people are afraid of real, authentic people, or they're afraid of authenticity because it forces them to reflect on themselves and it forces them to face themselves, because maybe they're used to performative. So two people with masks are used to talking to each other. Somebody's there trying to take off that mask or not having a mask and they're like, I'm not used to this. And unfortunately, if you're on the end of not wearing a mask, you might feel like, well, is there something wrong with what I'm doing? You know, is it me? But in reality, it's just the environment we're in. We're in a society that rewards superficial talks, shallow talks, extremism, rage bait. They reward that. So when people are real and authentic, it scares people away or they get bored. Either or. Like, I'm thinking about this, right? If people who wear masks, are they aware they're wearing a mask, or do they think everybody else is that way? Because if somebody's wearing a mask and they face somebody who's authentic, how do they feel? Do they feel intimidated? I think people also can sense when others are being like tryhards and might try to consciously avoid them. So think of the people that are like sort of your pick-me's or like Rico Suaves, where like they're kind of doing too much to appeal to certain people. And I know the word pick-me is sort of overused in the wrong context, but actual people that try to appease and please other people, that involves them having to give up their authenticity to try to make others happy, I think that turns people off. Like people who can see through it, it turns them off because they can tell like they're doing it for a motive without it actually being who they are. Obviously, I have a bias where I want authenticity and realness and intelligence and depthness. Like, I've always been attracted to that. But other people say the same thing, where we're living in a fake world. We're living in a world that, like I mentioned, just promotes a bunch of degeneracy, promotes people lying, rage baiting, putting on masks. And no one knows what to believe anymore, right? People mistaken rage bait for real. People mistaken sarcasm for seriousness. People assume people are being serious when they're joking. Like, there's a lot of assumptions. There's a lot of like kind of boy who cried wolf situation where maybe when people are putting on a mask for so long and they finally take that mask off, people don't know like to believe them or not. It could be fluid. It's not always black or white. Some people could have a mask on, take it off, put it back on, put it on around certain people, put it on online, take it off in person, or do the reverse. Like, people can put on their mask, you know, whenever. Think of it like we all have a mask, but the question is, are you going to wear the mask the whole time, or are you going to have it off the whole time, right? Or in between. For me personally, I don't like wearing masks, okay? You know, I'm very goofy. I'm very like passionate, but that's not around everybody. That's not around the public, right? Like fully. You know, I could be like jump off the walls, inner child type of thing at times, but it's not in front of everybody. I don't want to put on a mask either because we're already living in a world that starves and craves for authenticity. I don't want to be a part of the problem, right? And I'm sure if you're listening, you don't want to be a part of the problem either. And maybe you've tried to be real with people and people have turned you down for it and people have judged you for it. And if that's the case, you're not around the right people. I'm sorry to say that you're not around the right people and you're not around the environment that is for you. You're around the environment that just rewards the opposite. So it's not you, right? If you're trying to be real and authentic, it's not you. Like, don't feel like you're a monster. You might be seen as like a monster that's in the village and everyone's like afraid or like, oh, I need to avoid them or whatever, especially if you're blunt, especially if you're deep. But don't change that, because realness is what we should strive for, and people are just afraid of that because they're not used to it and they're just used to performance.
As you know, when someone is real and authentic, they express their emotions honestly, right? The saying goes, wearing your heart on your sleeves. People who are sensitive typically tend to be authentic.
Hmm.
You know, whether it's just sharing their values or trying to treat other people with integrity. I think that's a strength. You know, in a world where not everyone has good intentions, authenticity can sometimes be used against someone, you know?
Oh,
And
can you elaborate on how authenticity can get used against someone?
because authentic people, we tend to be transparent with things. They don't hide what they care about or what hurts them. So because of that, people who are manipulative or harmful can identify that, right? And see their fears, their desires, and weaknesses. So a person knows what matters most to you. They can use it to
Ah,
control a person.
they can use it to control you because they know what means a lot to you and they know what you want. Yes, and that's why they tell people don't tell people your plans and don't
Yeah.
tell them too much what you want to do in the future and all these things because they might sabotage it or whatever. Yeah, for sure, because they're not putting on a filter. Because think about it, if I was putting on a persona and I told you guys like I made up a bunch of stuff and you guys took that and ran with it, whatever. I'm just making it up, right? It wouldn't matter because I'm like they're running off of fake information, just like when people think they're exposing who I am but they have fake information. It's like, well, the information is not even true, so whatever, right? When people know you, you feel like you're more at harm, you're more at risk, you're more vulnerable, for sure. I mean, maybe that was an obvious analogy, but just the first thing I thought of.
Realness, like you said, right, scares people because it removes the mask that you put on.
It does. And what scares you guys so much about people seeing you? Tell me in the comments. What scares you guys so much about people seeing who you really are? I don't think you guys are terrible people. I mean, most of you guys watching this, no, I'm kidding. I don't think you guys are terrible people. And I don't think you guys are these flawed human beings that are terrible and are capable of all this destruction. And if you guys enter somebody's life, you're going to hurt them and cause all this chaos. I mean, I don't think most of you guys are like that. I think maybe you guys have certain insecurities that you think are gonna like sabotage things. It's okay to have insecurities. It's okay to have certain traits that you think might sabotage a relationship because maybe it won't. Like for example, with E, I've been very real with him and it's made me feel vulnerable because I'm like, oh, he knows so much about me. He knows everything. What if, who knows, right? But I don't. But at the same time, I do trust him to be understanding and to hold that information to his heart, right? Instead of using it as ammo. At the same time though, when you are real, it can make people have to face themselves too. And being real in front of Eve, for example, he might be like, oh well, she's real, I have to be real too. And if I show my full self, she might not accept me, right? Like that's what people might do in relationships, right? But being real, like people being real to themselves and with others is one of the most freeing things ever. You just have to have the courage to go for it.
Realness doesn't scare healthy people. It scares people who are avoiding themselves, right? Authenticity is powerful. It's calm, grounded, and clear. But as you know, we live in a very paradoxical society and world, and that clarity can feel threatening in a world where many survive by hiding. So
Exactly. Try it. Be real. See who you attract. See what situations and opportunities you attract. You might be surprised. So, yeah, guys, being real does scare people, and it also scares ourselves. You know, when we are so real with others, we're like, whoa, maybe I shouldn't have said that, you know? But at the end of the day,
it scares people who are avoiding themselves. You're right.
see? Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Let me know what you guys want to see down below, and let me know if you want to see videos like this. We like to articulate our thoughts to you guys, and these videos are pretty simple to make because we just say what we want to say and go, rather than having to do all this research and keep up with latest events. Like, we just want to speak our mind. So let me know if you guys like these kinds of videos. Let me know by leaving a like, a comment, share, and subscribe. I'd appreciate that so much. And if you got to this point in the video, thank you so much. You're a real one. Thanks, guys. Bye.
God be with you.
God be with you.